Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Weekly DLC. I'm one of your hosts, Karosh, joined always by my two co-hosts, Daniel Vargas
Hit or miss.
and Daniel Jang.
Do you know the way?
And we're about to show you the way to our podcast, which comes to you every Monday on podcasting services of your choice. And what we usually do is we sit around a table, we have some fun discussions, usually nerdy in nature, comic books, movies, video games. We kind of cover a wide breadth of things. And we have some fun. We hope you guys have some fun. We're going to do a slight tweak. Our normal rhythm is we usually do our banter, how's everyone doing, at the end of a podcast. We're going to do it, or no, at the beginning of a podcast. This time we're going to do it at the end of a podcast. So I'm going to fix one thing with the camera real quick, and then we're going to start with the topics.
Cool.
New year, new me.
I bet he never give ya.
Hit or miss.
Hit or miss.
And people are probably going to be like, he didn't change anything. It's right back where it was. But before we get into topics, I want to say happy episode 100, guys.
Happy episode 100.
That's
100 weeks.
Clap back.
Sometimes two a days.
Some specials.
But those don't count.
No, sometimes we doubled up and posted them, like when I was on travel.
Mm-hmm.
Do you not remember?
I guess not.
Do you remember some guests?
I remember specific guests being on the podcast. Yeah.
But yeah, 100 weeks. So I'm like, for a second, I was like, wait, that's barely anything. I misthought of how many weeks are in a month, in a year? How many weeks are in a year versus how many days are in a year?
100's a lot, man.
Years.
104 is a lot.
104 is 2 years. 82 weeks.
That's crazy. It doesn't feel like it's been. It feels like a year.
Weeks.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like 2 years.
So
If you think about it, damn.
Last week you had said to go back and look at our old episode for our 2018 goals. And I'm like, holy shit, we had 2017 goals? Because we mentioned it in that episode. So,
God damn.
yeah, big milestone. Thank you guys for being along for this ride. This has been fun. Cheers.
Our Starbucks drinks.
Starbucks, guys.
Sponsor us. Yes. Please.
Starbucks, please.
Get the brand in there. But yeah, without further ado, let's start with your topic.
Let's start. I already forgot my topic.
Have you ever had a... We're going to bring in the guest. King of consoles.
So the man, I usually write this down and have it ready for myself. But there was Slightly Mad Studios is planning on creating a new console within the next 3 years, or not within. It's after 3 years. That's when they kind of plan on releasing it.
I see.
But do you think there's room for another console? Do you guys think there's space?
One thought that came to mind immediately was when you said that there's a new console, it made me think of the one that's currently trying to get some traction. It's like a rapper.
The Soulja Boy.
Yeah,
It's
Soulja Boy.
already-
It's tanked.
It's already
Nintendo.
tanked, dude.
So I'm going to use that as my starting point.
Go for it.
I don't know. Like, they've got to be offering something that's...
So obviously the guy hasn't talked about specs or anything. It's 3 years out.
He mentioned a few things. I looked at a Variety article.
So he said within 2 years, the high-end spec of a 2-year computer, that's what he plans to have this 3-year computer be for a much cheaper price. Okay. And then, so he wants to have it VR ready.
Yeah.
And to work with every VR. So I don't know if that entails PlayStation VR as well, but we have Oculus Rift, we have the Vive, and then we have other bigger name companies. Like Microsoft has like virtual reality, not virtual, augmented reality ones. But I don't know if like PlayStation VR is planning to be part of that. And then he makes suggestions saying like, when it comes to video games, exclusivity is huge. He's like, but we won't be able to incentivize this for people. Like, we can't be like, hey, if you only make it for our console, here's extra money. He's like, we're not going to do that. Like, if developers want to make it for our console, go for it. If they want to release that game for other consoles, go for it as well. But he's like, if we want to make it, like, we'll probably have to have exclusivity.
So I'm wondering, like, what would it offer that you couldn't get elsewhere? Because at the end of the day, like, unless it gives a very streamlined, very entry friendly like VR setup at,
Yeah.
a low cost. The point is you want to get these in homes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I'm trying to see what their sales pitch is for that. And if it's just to have the best equipment, I'm like, okay, here's a PC.
Right.
So what, like, how do you differentiate yourself?
That's tough.
And all these other, you're trying to pull people from all these other ecosystems.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing. It's like, it's one thing to get people to just this is very reminiscent in my head of the Epic Games store,
Mm-hmm.
where it's another, behemoth in a already big, kind of market of stores fronts. And the whole point is you want this to be like the device in which you're trying to get games on.
Yeah.
I feel like having a hardware is a much harder entry point because it's a cost.
Mm-hmm.
You install another software, that's a different thing versus paying for another piece of hardware in
Yeah.
your home. So I don't know. That's the biggest challenge I see. I don't know what their pitch is then. Besides, we got good shit. Like, didn't the Atari? That was also something we talked about a while back, where Atari was like, we're coming in with like a revamped Atari, like whatever our next. It's like, what does it do? What games does it have?
And instead of doing like Kickstarter, they were like, if you pay in right now, you get more incentives than someone that does it later. And then they tried to like, it was stocks.
Oh,
They try to have you buy stocks of the console.
Yeah, all those kids, they're all grown up now. They're like, all they care about is stocks. What do you think, Jay?
I don't think there's room for a home console, but handheld. I know the PlayStation Vita failed, but it can only be PlayStation because I feel like Microsoft doesn't have a lot of first-party games. So it would have to be a Sony handheld. There's room for another handheld.
I disagree. It can only be Nintendo.
I think, going back to what we talked about last time, I think everyone else's big play. I mean, I could see Sony going with a handheld device, but I see like Microsoft's play and other people's play being cloud to your phone. Make your phone the handheld that you already have.
Right.
It's not there now, but you're playing You could play Fortnite on
I
there.
know, but like,
So they're gonna try and like little by little just chip away at that barrier of.
I think that's the ultimate goal, mobile. I think.
at least with mobile, my biggest game is it's what's considered like an idle game where like when you're not touching the game
Right.
and you're away from it, you're building like all these resources, and then you go back in the game, you collect all these resources that have built, and then you can use that to like upgrade stuff. But generally, you're not playing the game. I play that game. That's the game I play because it doesn't require me to do much. I tried playing like RPG games. I tried playing like a pretty big one, the Dragonalia Lost or whatever, the Nintendo one. It bogs down my phone. Like if I play it for like a few hours, it is now like running so slowly.
But that bridge, it's like it's on there. That's the thing is it's on there.
Yeah.
Whether it's slow, it's a small step. It's like, okay, a few more years, that phone, whatever the next iterations of phone, will be like smooth as butter.
Right.
And then the next iteration, and it's just like.
And then the next Diablo.
But going back to like if there's room for a fourth console,
What would make it for you?
well, I think there is room for a fourth console.
Yeah.
I think there's always room. But the thing is, I think eventually it will boot out a current console or like a console that's out. So like, let's say we have PlayStation, we have the Sony PlayStation,
Yeah.
we have Xbox, and then we have Nintendo. Those are the three major consoles. I mean, if this system does anything what it could do,
The Dreamcast.
I do think like Xbox could be a person that could be like seeing the shadows of this new
Colossus.
box, essentially Shadow of Colossus. But that all depends on the game, like or the system itself. Like it does have to be function, does have to work. Like what was it, Ouya? Like that they were boasting like we're gonna be all indie stuff, but like it was a horrible collection of games. It was like mobile games on a console.
Do you remember the End Gear?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's another one. Just out the.
Yeah. So it just depends. Like it could be another flop just because like they concentrate too much on the hardware and never concentrate on the software, because that's a big thing. If you don't have games, no one's gonna buy your system.
Exactly. So this whole idea of them being like, we don't want exclusives or we can't go for exclusives, I'm like, then what is your? That's how you're gonna get games on. How you gonna draw people? The way Sony's kept so many people is The Last of Us, God of War.
No,
Shadow
but that's
Colossus,
I think you
Spyro.
might have misheard me. He says the way to survive is exclusive, but he can't afford it. Like he's like,
Okay.
I can't pay people.
Then I'm like, how are you? Again,
Yeah.
regardless of whether his intention is there or not, I understand what
Yeah.
you're saying now. I just don't see how he's planning to get the numbers he
Yeah.
wants without something like that. Because
Mm-hmm.
other than that, I don't see any other way to pull someone out of their Halos or their Game Passes or their.
Essentially what he has to do is he has to make a PC. Like he can't make a
Then
console.
but then you have a PC already.
I know, but it has to be like a console-looking PC that can run VR. I don't know how that works because at least with the graphics cards are huge. So it's gonna have to be like
He needs to make an affordable PC because PCs are expensive.
Sure.
Like if you
at least with like if you're
gaming
talking about
PC.
VR, I think the cheapest it gets right now is like $1,000 maybe. The bundled there was a bundled deal with the Oculus Rift. They were making the Oculus or the PC $750, but you couldn't buy the PC alone. Like it had to be with the Rift. Rift was like $350, so it was like a little over $1,000 for the whole package.
Okay.
I don't know if there were any 750 standalone PCs, but I would say $1,000 is a good price range for a virtual reality machine. So yeah, if he's planning on doing something like that, it's gonna have to be close to, $400, $500. It can't
Competitive.
be. Yeah.
They said they want to be launching. In the Variety article, he was like, we want to be competitive pricing as the other hardware.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I agree with you guys on the point of VR. I think that's where they can make it's an empty landscape of, there's some big juggernauts, but I don't feel like anyone has had a huge stake of claim to the player base.
Yeah.
And there's it's growing, like it's getting in that direction. So like the longer they wait, the harder it'll be.
But the reason why I say it has to be PC is I have no clue how someone can make like another PlayStation where it plays PlayStation games. You can't do that. I'm assuming you can't do that. Like that PlayStation disc is locked. So he can't make a console that can play Xbox games, that can play PlayStation games. He can't do that. And obviously, if he makes a brand new consoles, developers aren't going to be like, oh yeah, I've made this game. Let me just, port it over to your system that's brand new too. Like, let me just waste money to do this real quick for you. It's not going to happen. So that if he's going to break into it, he has to start a console that essentially plays PC games, but that makes it seamless for people, like people that don't know how to work computers. Like
Sure.
it's
If
just,
it does it better than other people,
Yeah.
where they can play PC on their couch.
exactly.
Which like other people, this wouldn't be the first time because there's the Steam machine, the Steam Link, PlayStation has their remote thing where you can play on your computer.
See, but at least with the Steam Link and the Shield, there's
Yeah.
also that. Those are like you're using a real computer to like display it on these systems.
True,
like
but
the
I'm
Steam
saying you're
Link.
getting the PC. The goal was to get a PC experience in the living room, and this would maybe be and then the Alienware did Steam machines, which is literally a computer in your living room.
Yeah.
And it would have like a Steam operating system. I imagine this would be that repitched if it was going for that PC space. But again, people already have their PCs, so and you got to be competitive, and you got to be VR. It's like it's trying to be affordable and like high end at the same time.
So yeah, what I would imagine to work is having literally a PC that works like a console. Like it's very dumbed down. There's no very many options. Obviously, it's not going to open to Windows and you click whatever icon you want. It's gonna like you turn on the computer, it opens to something similar like a Steam library where it's only games that you have on there.
I'm betting they're gonna have their own store.
More than likely, yeah. And so it's going to be like a similar thing, like a Steam library, and then you can install or uninstall games there. You can use obviously a controller to just choose all these options rather than a mouse and keyboard. And obviously that'll be optional because it's going to be probably PC games mostly. And then from there, yeah, you scroll down. You're like, I want to download Overwatch. I want to download. Well, this is going to be Blizzard, so it's going to be other games. But
I'm trying to think of like the eye grabber that would get everyone's attention. Like this isn't even realistic. Just what would be the craziest thing that would be like that thing is onto something? Like one announcement for it, whatever it may be, hardware or software or whatever. I have mine. Right?
I maybe if you tell you yours, I can have a clue of what you're talking about. I don't know.
They offer VR.
Uh-huh.
and they offer for the first time ever Fortnite in VR.
Hmm.
Cross-platform with all their other versions. I'm just saying.
No, I know,
that would
but,
draw
like,
eyes.
I don't-
Epic partnering with them.
But Epic wouldn't be like, yeah, let's start
Let's
this.
not say what couldn't happen. Let's say what if it happened. Would it get people? I think that would get people.
I don't know. That's too much. That's just so out of like
I know. That's my point. Is
outer space that I can't even fathom. That's not something I can.
what's one thing that Fortnite hasn't done VR?
I mean, it's true. But partnering up with a brand new console, that's
And
just
then
not
they
gonna happen.
and then they solve their they not solve, but they further push their Epic Game Store by making it the preferred store on this machine.
That's true.
The next MMO from Blizzard, exclusive.
Actually,
That would be a big one.
I can see
that.
that.
Would 100% be a big one.
I can see what you just said there. Fortnite store, Epic Store, partnering up with this console. So then when you open it up, it's the Epic Store that you're logged into.
Yeah.
And all the games they have available are available for the console.
Right.
That's what I can see. Not the VR thing, though.
Plus VR.
Not
It's not that big of a jump.
It's a huge jump.
In 2 to 3 years?
Huge jump.
Okay.
Obviously,
I can
things
see Blizzard's
change.
MMO, but that would also be
Shit.
crazy.
In 1 year, we could be all like augmented
No one,
into.
in 1 year, we went from Fortnite being a horde mode game to being the biggest game on the world. So let's
Well,
not throw anything out of
We're in
So
the biggest.
PUBG's next.
We're in the biggest game right now. Simulation.
That company's like got 'em.
But I mean, the virtual reality thing, I don't know. It's so weird to me. I just can't fathom it. But I can see them partnering up with Fortnite for the Steam store. So they'll be like, we get exclusive store on your console. So that's the only thing that pops up. And obviously, in 3 years, they'll have a lot more game libraries available to Fortnite.
What did you think of his idea?
What was your
Blizzard MMO, the next one, exclusive to this console.
Titan or whatever it was supposed to be called? Or?
Whatever it is.
That's also not happening.
Okay. If you gotta free your mind,
I can't free my mind with these things. These are ridiculous thoughts.
this console is ridiculous. So let's just get ridiculous. I don't know. I think that, like, if you
I
could
think
do
the
the
MMO is a
impossible-
horrible idea.
Why?
I just think I feel
It
like
would get attention.
it's going to offer obviously peripherals for mouse and keyboard. I think their biggest thing is going to be a controller. And so I don't think it's going to when it comes to MMO crowds, I think it's a hardcore crowd that won't pay attention to this console. So it's not going to move anyone to this console for an MMO like that. I just don't think like matching up an MMO with a console it's not going to work.
I think you're playing the opposite of what we're playing.
It's
Yeah.
just you told me if it's a good idea. I think it's a bad idea.
Okay. What's your?
It's not gonna help
Do
the
you have any?
console. Just the store partnering, I think, is a really
That
good
was
idea.
my idea.
You said virtual reality.
And then I said store.
You added that as a little salt at the end, and you're
But it was
hurting
still
my
me saying.
wounds. I'm not original. I just steal people's ideas. You know how I am.
Copyright.
I thought that I had that, and you would have accepted it, and now I got to think about something else
I
now.
want you to challenge yourself for these next 100 episodes.
New Year's resolution.
yeah.
Let's see.
Just first thought that comes to your head.
I mean, I can't. There's just like it's like a pool, and I gotta grab, and I can't reach in yet.
Sword Art Online, the VR experience comes to
All of those games are shitty.
there's the games.
There's multiple games. And
The
they're all shitty.
definitive version of the game.
All of them mesh into one to make the perfect game.
Okay, here's a crazy one, but it would it would qualify in your. It's not gonna work because the idea of it would just garner headlines. Kanye West supports like some big game that's coming to this
Hideo
machine.
Kojima.
Man,
That wouldn't bring you to this console.
No.
Leisure Suit
the-
Larry.
So
Oh, you're onto something. Pornhub sponsors this machine.
That's-
that would fucking sell.
that's huge.
That's what they.
Like,
that's
it's
their. That's their
exclusive-
tagline. That it's huge.
An exclusive.
Bobby Lee and the little guy.
Their tagline is that's what she said.
Yeah.
I guess taking yours a step further would be like partnering with the Steam store and having all that Steam content
That's not
available.
Okay. That'd be good. That'd help them. Maybe they join forces.
That'd be huge, dude. I mean,
Half-Life
because
3.
because I know at least they tried a console by doing the Steam Link, which they are now trying to go software route. So it's like you download like an app on your phone and then you can Steam Link that way rather than having hardware. That's what the Steam Link was. Eventually, like for Christmas, it was like, or Black Friday was like $750 for this console that was originally.
Tells you how
like,
it's doing.
but that's physical form. I think software form they're doing fantastic. They said like they're getting downloads because like the what was it called? The Shield, the NVIDIA Shield. They have, I think, a download version of that software for that. So I think that would work. So yeah, I think that would be fantastic for Steam. They don't have to work on a console. Someone else does it, and they team up with them.
They call this thing the Orange Box, and it comes with
Team Fortress.
Team Fortress 3, Left 4 Dead 3,
Jesus.
Portal 3, and Half-Life 3.
Dang.
This thing would be the best-selling.
Oh, they released Half-Life 3.
Bro, you're taking my...
I don't know what you're talking about. You're
All right,
bundling
bring
it
in
up.
the guest.
You're bundling it up, and I'm just picking one thing.
You're going a la carte. All right.
You want the
I
whole
see how it
combo.
is. I see how it is.
I want just bits and pieces.
Fair enough. I mean, it'll be interesting. We'll see in 2 or 3 years on episode 400 or 500.
Probably.
What's going on with this console? I don't know. Is there any final thoughts?
No, that's yeah.
All right. Next up.
All right, my topic. YouTuber named James Charles did a house tour video. His address somehow got leaked, or people found out his address, and so he writes a tweet saying, "If you come to my house, I will not I will not hug you. I will not take a picture with you. I will not acknowledge you. I will tell you to get out. If you don't leave, I will call the police." The problem is, his fans got divided, which is crazy. One side said, if it wasn't for us, you wouldn't even have that house. Mm-hmm. So you have to take pictures with us and acknowledge us. The other side says, this is his home. He deserves his privacy. And so I want to know what you guys think. Where do you guys stand?
This is a huge content creators. This is a huge time. Like the moment I read that, I was like, I already have things to say. And I'm going to just start spewing it. There are events that these creators go to. This is the purpose of these events, is to meet these fans. You don't go to someone's private home where this is near and dear to me. Like, I don't want some random people coming to my house and being like, hey, dude, we know you from the internet. Do you want to we want to say what's up? It's like, no, I'm at my house, dude. I don't want some random person. You know me. I don't know you. You know me through videos I make. I don't know you at all. Like, I don't know what you're capable of. I don't. And the fact that you now know where I live, I am super uncomfortable at this house now. I need to move. I need to get out of here. I need to move and make sure that this address isn't. If you want to meet me, I am going to these events. You go to these events with me, and we can meet there. Like, I mentally prepare myself to meet these people here. That I'm not. This is insane. Like, there shouldn't be this divided fan feud, between James. Like, he is a content creator. He does owe a lot to you guys. It's not at his house though. You don't do that at his house.
What kind of content does he make? I'm familiar with it.
He makes makeup videos. He puts makeup on himself.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I never heard of him until I read the article, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I think this is to me cut and dry. It's like he didn't invite them to his house. If he said, like, hey everyone, come to my place, I'll say hi. Somehow his address inadvertently, not through his consent, got shared, and people are showing up demanding things. I feel like that's entitled people, and what I'm more what I'm thinking of more so than this divide is, what does he do now? Like, what do other content creators do if some information like that? Like, imagine whatever service they use to share their content has a major breach, and every major content creator gets their information leaked. Like, we've had leaks before in other services, and they've all been dangerous, but these people have garnered attention. You're just everyone. The difference being, you're not drawing attention to yourself in a major breach of a bunch of addresses. Hopefully, you don't get someone doesn't pick you as the victim. But in these cases, it's people that have a lot of fans, and so if the fans that are either really obsessive or really not all, like really have a bone to pick with him, what protections? This goes. We've talked about this with the disrespect, Dr. Disrespect issue, where it's like, what do you do? Like, and you're saying too, is like, what do you do in a situation where now your home is not safe? And I don't know. I'm wondering, is YouTube, should they, like, there's no news of like how his information got shared. It wasn't through YouTube or.
I feel like, yeah, obviously if like YouTube was at fault, but I don't think that's the case. Like he does videos. There might have been like a shot in a video that had like a return address or something. What sucks, what's even bigger is like at first I was thinking he can just move, like it's no big deal. But I realized like when you move, like when you go to a different apartment or go to a different house, like when you buy a house, rent an apartment, you sign a contract. Generally, it's obviously a year or more.
Yeah, you got a mortgage. You got it's
a
big chunk of your life.
This contract is like you agreed to pay for this location, and so he can't. And I'm assuming it's. I think the LA spot, he's been here for a while now, but even then, I'm sure it's not within like there's still time on the contract, and it's like he can't. He has to continue paying it and then move at the same time. Or if he cancels the contract, they're going to be like, here's a huge fine. Here's for breaking the contract. You owe us like 10 grand or something like that. And maybe he can pay it, but that's just like, that's super shitty in that situation. That's just money that could have gone to making more better quality videos, stuff like that. That's going to be gone.
What do you think, Jay?
I think content creators deserve their privacy. There was a tweet that was for it. Dude, I loved it. He said, like, imagine if your boss came to your house and demanded more work from you. Like, that's how the tweet was kind of paraphrased. And I was like, yeah, dude, like, he has to work too. Like, that, like, people knocking on your door, it, like, interrupts you and you're trying to record. Like, that was part of the problem. He was trying to record stuff and people would knock every 3 minutes and he's trying to record a video.
Yeah, he was like, I would have been hours ago if it wasn't for this.
But content create. I think, to be honest, there was another article where a psychiatrist was saying, like, how like certain people, they can't differentiate like the character between an actor. Like they'll see Joffrey and they'll be like, I fucking hate you, and they can't understand that it's a character.
Wrestling too.
Okay.
A lot of wrestlers have done stuff in the ring, and then people give them shit like in real life.
Yeah, and it's like, that's an act. And I feel like the psychiatrist is saying it's the same thing. Like they see this character on YouTube, and they see as this person more accessible than like a movie star. So that's why they act upon it, and they'll go to someone's house when they find their address, and they'll try to hang out, but it's not okay. Like,
yeah, I think we're in this new stage where before, like exactly what you're touching on. Before it used to be celebrities, and they were like untouchable. You didn't know where they lived. They lived in a secret area. They hung out in like a private everything. You never would see them. And if you did see them, it was like a magical moment that you all of a sudden are sharing an airplane with one of these guys, or you see them in a bathroom or restaurant. And you're like, oh my God, it's Lou Ferrigno or whoever. And YouTube has made it so many, and just general content creators. Are much more like there's a fame to many more people, and also they're much more accessible. They're much more down to earth, and you feel like you're closer with those people. So it's like a I don't know, a pro con, because it's like, oh, that's part of the draw of these people as content creators. Like, oh, I can relate to you, or you're just another guy or girl like me. But on the flip side, that content creator is like, I need to find a way. Like, I'm trying to relate to these people, but at the same time, I need to find a way to draw a line with these people as well, my viewers, that while I am just like anyone else and I'm approachable, I have my private life. And I feel like that's we're in that weird period of figuring all that stuff out. And it's been many cases this has come up with a lot of people just like being content creators and be like, I have a life, and I want to just do things. And
I think for a lot of people, even for James, like before this happened, you never think about this. You're like, this isn't a line I have to draw. Like people just shouldn't come to my place.
Right. Yeah.
But then once this information is leaked and they start coming, he's like, this is insane, and he has to make this line.
Right.
Like he has to draw this line.
Like as clear as, okay, you're a rock star.
Yeah.
Now you're in a different life. It's like a much more drastic life change for you. So
Yeah.
you can.
But I think the internet in general, because I've heard stories of like random people going to Keanu's house, you know, like
I mean-
and just chilling at his place while he's not there. He's out somewhere recording, you know, like he's not even in the state. He's in a different state recording, and like you know, there's news about someone had broken into his house and was chilling. The cops had to like go get the person or whatever. It's just like you know, there's still ways to find these people's information. And this is just a new day and age with internet. Like obviously, there's so much information. You can find out almost literally anything, you know. Yeah. But yeah, like this isn't something that like has to be said. This is everyone has their own privacy.
I think it has to be said that they like
People are breaking.
like people. It's like not clicking with people.
Yeah.
That is a line.
And then the biggest thing, which James too, is he made the comment he doesn't understand how parents go along with this. But my thought is, I think there are parents who are like, they're like, yeah, honey, I'll drive you, like without any questions asked. But I think it's the kids lying. They're like, hey, you know, I hit up this person that is on YouTube, and they said they're gonna meet me. Can you drive me there? You know, and the
I
parents
still
like,
think
yeah,
it's.
sure.
I mean, we're not pointing fingers, but I still feel like it's a parent's due diligence to know what they're like. If they're taking their kids somewhere, know what their kid's going to. Don't just like take their kid's word.
There is a lot of parents that like they use technology as a babysitter.
I know,
They'll
bad. Yeah,
they'll hand like an iPad. He's like, here, honey, you know, like you just be in your corner and do whatever you need to do.
crazy.
There was a thing on Reddit where like this dad is asking if there's power units that don't have an on and off switch, so that his kids can't accidentally turn on and off something, so he can have it constantly plugged in and have power running. He's like, I don't want this to be turned off. And the comment was like a mom saying like, hey, I'm like, you know, 60 years old, and when I was growing up, my parents, you know, showed me discipline by telling me like, hey, you can't watch TV at this time after you've done homework. I've done the same thing to my kids. My kids are now doing the same thing to their kids. He's like, this is discipline. You can't just randomly stop, you know, having these buttons on electronics just to hope your kids don't do these things. Like, you have to have the discipline in your kids. So, like, parents are relying on technology for their kids. So, you know, like, and that's their social time now, is them watching people on YouTube, them knowing these people, these characters, and they think that, you know, when something like this happens, I am obligated to go meet this person now. You know, this is my friend.
On the flip side, though, I'm not playing devil's advocate, but people used to do that with TV. They would just use TV as the babysitter.
Yeah.
And
It's a more accessible.
We're just moving
easier way of doing it.
along that timeline of the simulation.
Yeah, it's crazy.
on the next console.
But yeah, where I stand is everyone needs their privacy, and there are certain times and places to meet up, and they're indicated by these people when they say, "Hey, I'm going to TwitchCon."
See,
hey,
now
I'm going to
it
this
gets
convention."
really weird because like
Let's get
If-
weird.
if I'm like a fan and I heard that from you, I would be like, okay, I won't go to his house, but I'll hang around the area, like this shopping market, and be like, see, or kind of like follow, like driving like from far away, like 2 cars behind. Like, I feel like people will bend shit as much as possible. Like, okay, I won't be at his house.
It's like PAX. Like, don't stand on in line. All right, I'm gonna hover around where the line.
Yeah,
is.
you people like around the corner, like there's people in line now, and then you scuffle over to the
and
line.
they'll act surprised, like, oh, like at this supermarket, like, oh.
Daniel, what are you doing here? What a coincidence! It's not like I've been
Yeah.
following you around in my car this whole time.
Well, I think he went to what I would consider a nice length of sharing, saying, "Listen, like I'm giving you a heads up. I'm not going to be responsive to you." I feel like this is something again, like athletes, celebrities have gone through. This isn't new, like you said, TV and stuff. They get caught in the bathroom. They get caught at the gym, and it's like there are certain places it is and isn't okay, and there's certain things that are and are not okay to like. Hi, nice to meet you. I love your work. Okay, bye. That's like a small level of it. Another level is like, hey, I have 30 books, sign them now. And
This
he's
is
like,
also-
dude, I'm at the airport. I have done 3 layovers. Like,
But there's also like this came up with when we were at the video game awards, where they're like, "What's the best place to meet someone?" The bathroom. It's like they're at their most vulnerable. But for me, it's like that's not right. Like
Yeah.
that's also
That's a
private
line you
time.
draw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
also
Some
a
people don't
private
draw
time
the
for me.
line.
Yeah, exactly.
hey.
I don't know if it was one of you. I think it was you, Krosh, who told me someone had told you like that's the best time to meet someone. And I immediately when you told me that, I'm like, I don't think that's the
But
case. You agree with me, but
You bend the rule by hanging outside.
but that's the case. Like, there is truth to it. Where like, yeah, they are at the most vulnerable, so you're gonna probably end up chatting. But like, that's like holding someone hostage with their social anxiety because you're in the fucking bathroom with these people. Like, it's just you don't do it. It's just not right.
Again, some people didn't get that taught.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
they'll be like, "Hey, Dad, I'm gonna go in the bathroom. Come with me because I'm my star." My star pupil.
Take a photo with me.
You're just like your wee-wee's dangling, and you're like, no.
Episode 69.
Plus 100.
Yeah. I hope things get better for him.
I mean, the only thing he can do, which is gonna suck, is end up moving. Like, at this point, he can't.
Do you think though people will eventually just get like stop trying, lose interest, move on to the next big thing?
There's so many people in the world. It's just like it's a bombardment. Like one person will go in and be like, "Okay, I realize this is wrong." Someone hasn't gotten to that point yet. They're gonna go and meet up. It's just like,
but like that information is gonna be old, and people move a mile a minute, so it's like the kids are already on to the next. I don't know. I feel like the attention span is shorter, so
it could be, but I still think like obviously to the person it's happening, it's gonna feel like an eternity.
Right, to us it might move on.
Yeah,
right.
exactly. Like, because we're like tomorrow we're gonna forget about this, and he's still dealing with it.
Yeah.
He's still like every excruciating minute he has to deal with it. So it's a month might feel like a year. Like and who knows how long it's gonna need to last before people kind of dwindle down and stop. But there will always be like even when it dies down the hype. There will be one or two people that still occasionally, like once a month, will come over to his place to try to meet him.
And also the effect it has on him is like if he sees someone just looking a certain way, he's like, now I'm thinking they're like all these people. It's like it might mess with him.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's a bummer. I mean, sometimes it sucks for us. We have people asking us for pencils and stuff. And it's like, I'm like, no, there's a there's a line.
Get out of here, man. We're recording, dude. What the?
That's good. Okay. Speaking of the weekly deals, one of the best podcasts out there on all podcasting services of your choice. Ding. My topic is, I kind of wanted to get a little reflective with our 100th episode. And, and one of my favorite things is you were like,
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to look back and ask you guys what some of your favorite either episodes, topics, interactions have been over the last 100 episodes. We could go around the table. I have written some down. One of my favorite ones, I'm going to go in order from one of the earlier ones. Our first guest was at episode 13.
Yeah, with Keith.
No, it's with you know who.
It's with Jay. Do you?
No. It was with the.
I went through the first 76 episodes.
It was with the one person.
Our lost levels guest. No, when Jay came by, we had. It was also some of my favorite topics we've done. So one of them was gaming villains. We each picked one and we had them battle. Game worlds to live in.
Oh yes, I remember.
Whether or not you're a competitive gamer. The static that always comes.
Episode 100.
And this is one I enjoyed, was pick a franchise and do three things. Make an app for it, do some expanded universe content, and then make a spin-off game out of it. I thought that was a fun, big, like, we hit one of our... It was one of our longer episodes at the start.
Yeah.
But it was also fun. I enjoyed that one. Does anyone want to go next?
I'll go. Episode 38. It was a topic called Android's Dream of Electric Podcasts. It was really enjoyable. It's a topic I just love. I enjoy. And Kurosh didn't understand it.
Was that the one I didn't understand? God, that baffled me for so long. I was like, I don't understand. I know I'm not in a simulation.
It's funny to me that like when your buddy was like, the probability is higher, I'm like, that doesn't help me though. Like I wouldn't have gotten it that way either.
That is so easy. Like, why didn't he just say it that way? It was literally the next day. I'm like, hey, can you listen to the episode now instead of later?
But yeah, I enjoyed like the fact that we talked about, possibly being in submission already because of the probability.
That was one of the earlier ones too that we did that on. It's been on our topics several times.
It was within the first year.
Yeah.
I don't know what episode number it is, but it was a very short one. It was an interview with renowned author Andy Weir. The reason why I like it is because kind of legitimizes us, I guess. Like, and I think I found the email and I was like, dude, I always have the mentality, just ask. If they say no, who cares, you know? Like, he said yes, and we scored an interview with him. I didn't read the book. But I mean, it was short, but I mean, like, I've talked to another author, and I told him that we had an interview with Andy Weir, and kind of like, you know, like that name drop. He's like, "Oh shit!" Like, yeah.
It was after episode 43, but it's not episode 44.
But I mean, I can use
special.
I can use that to name drop, and people are like, "Oh shit!" You
So that interview was within our first year as well.
Andy Weir. Damn, first year.
Yeah. God damn. And we're done with year 2.
Hey, year 2 we got several interviews.
Yeah,
CEOs,
all in a row.
game designers, level designers,
Game developers.
Yeah, several game developers. One of mine is episode 57. You guys remember why that one was special?
I could find out.
It was 12 before 69.
Oh, it's spicy.
What else happened that episode? It wasn't the topic.
Hot ones?
Don't remember.
We introduced the video
Is that really when we introduced?
because we were like, let's do the spicy one.
Oh,
the
that's
video one.
right.
What happened to We Got This?
That's not an episode. It's not a numbered episode.
But we got this.
But yeah, we got this, so don't worry about it.
That's right. My so I'm going backwards apparently.
fine.
Episode 20.
Okay,
Do you remember what that was?
give me a hint.
It is our origin story.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
How we all met.
That's cool.
That's a good one.
So that was, that one was really fun
I like
to
that.
talk about.
I don't know what number it was, but when we started using the mixer, the quality.
Yeah, that was like
That was big. I remember that little. Yeah, I mean that one was
That's
great.
Throwback.
that was within like 20 episodes probably.
God bless this mixer.
And then we got mics too, and
Yeah, dude, seriously.
Laptop,
laptop,
camera.
static.
Hey, the portable setup is great too. I love that thing that was awesome at PAX. Like I love that thing. All right, my next one. After a fucking bet with Mr. Vargas over here, episode 59, I became level 40,
Hey,
and
Hey, I saw the title.
I had the biggest smile.
the title of that is just called Level 40.
Didn't want to forget that one.
Definitely. Mine was within the 60s. What was the 69?
Yeah, that's one of the ones for me.
I remember there was another one in there, but like, yeah, that one was I think the concept up to that point was really fun. I don't feel like that we actually executed it very well, though. I don't feel like that episode was executed well.
I deep throated that fucking chocolate banana, and you don't think that was enough?
and the music, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, the fucking music. You guys like? Did anyone order a pizza? Wow! Ow!
Oh yeah, I had
Yeah.
the Debbie Dallas or Debbie does Dallas does Debbie. What?
Debbie does that.
It's like a tongue twister for me. That was a fun
How dare you?
fun idea though.
How dare you, sir?
We got all the fruits and vegetables.
Yeah, we just had bananas and chocolates.
There was peaches.
And
See? What else does he forget?
I remember now because there were 2 peaches and the banana.
I ate a peach.
You ate the
I was
banana.
Mine was a topic. I don't know what episode number it was. It was the one with self-driving cars.
Oh,
that was a
that
really
was
cool
gonna
one.
be- that
Keith
was
was
gonna be
there.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
That was a good one.
That's like those kind of topics about like the future and like AI that it really interests me.
Next topic.
Speaking of future and AI and VR, when I was listening back to, because last week we were talking about resolutions, you were mentioning we should look at what our resolutions for 2018 were. I found that episode. and I was listening to it, and in our intro, like what we've been up to, I listened a little bit, and I had just watched San Junipero, and one of the things we kind of broached, but I was like, we're gonna talk about this later, and we did when you watched it, was the ideas that they, and I was like, that was, it was like another time it had come up. So, my next one was episode 79. Three of the episodes I picked were 9.
That's how to legitimize esports.
Ooh,
I thought we had some really cool ideas. And then the other topic that I really enjoyed from that was the what defines a game of the year? Like, what qualifications do we go about? And each of us had some different answers. And I like that. It made me feel like we were observing it and you know, figuring it out as we were talking. And it led to some interesting conversation.
Definitely. It was a good one. My last one pretty much is episode 89, where my topic was the realism in video games.
That one, I enjoyed that one.
Yeah. So that one, I had a really good time talking about that one because it made me also realize I don't enjoy realism in my video games.
When you have realizations on the episode, it's like sometimes I realize things as I'm researching a topic before the episode, but other times it's like on the episode, I'm like,
Or sometimes even after.
oh yeah, after.
The probability.
This one is good.
Mine's not a specific episode. It's more seasons. Each season we have a joke. And from Get Out to like, there was like a mid-season joke with Pennywise, and then it went to Stranger Things season 2.
The second place.
That was like the second year.
And then around PAX, we got a little taste of Onigiri.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've been in a VR kick.
I just
or
want
not VR, just simulation.
Yeah.
I just want one of my viewers to come up to me and say "Onigiri" in my ear and walk away. Like, what the?
I'm just gonna pay some random kid. Hey, go up to his ear.
Fiverr.
When we're at like Comic-Con or something.
Go on this guy's stream, tip him, and then
and say onigiri.
I think the last one, it's not an episode number, but I really, out of those PAX interviews, I think I enjoyed all of them for different reasons, but the last one was one of the ones that...
Is that the goose?
Tile Goose Game. It freaked me out because I was reading it, and I thought I misspelled his name in the podcast, but it was spelled... I thought it was... I was reading it thinking it was going to say Jacob, but his name is J-Buck, and he was a really cool guy. And like, it wasn't so just that he was one of like, it's a small team and it's a really cool game, like all the like Messenger was. That one I love for other reasons too, because it was like we just fell in love with this game, we just met them, and like
they caused us not to play Monster Hunter.
Yeah, that too. It kind of just took over our trip, but like that one was cool because now I'm seeing them win game awards, and I'm like, fuck yeah, like I feel like a personal connection with them. But going back to the Goose Game, I like that one because he was describing things about game design that I never knew. Like little things even, just like the way he was talking, he was like, first we designed the goose where his head didn't move. But then like we thought it was missing something. So we made it so that head's always watching the person. So it adds an animosity to it. I was like, whoa, that little, like to me, like I wouldn't even think twice about that. But like that attention makes you realize how like, what that drives you towards mentally as a player. And I'm like, that's really cool. And like he was showing like a little kid playing. He's like, yeah, I let this little kid not have to wait in line to try it out. Like they can come here. And same with the image and form guys from SteamWorld Dig. The CEO was like working with a kid like, here, that's like true. Play this guy. I was like, seeing game developers like that.
Yeah.
And then we've talked to Andy Weir and how cool he was. Like just seeing people on a more personal level was like, these are really cool experiences.
2019, even more interviews.
And podcasts.
Definitely. More podcasts.
Same guests.
That
we don't remember.
There was one topic, I don't even know if it was a topic. I just remember waiting for you to play Nier Automata, Vargas. And I was like, oh, I can finally talk to someone. And like, I think Roberto was on that episode too, maybe. That was fun. I enjoyed that. I think another thing I've enjoyed is, like you mentioned with the seasons, is following your streaming career. Like we've gone in various directions. Like you've stuck with certain franchises, you've gone some directions, you've done. And I'm like, it feels like a chronology of like just this tale. I don't know.
Definitely.
It's kind of cool. Yeah, I was kind of wanting to go down memory lane a little bit.
And then this
What's going to be the
episode-
joke for season 3?
Stranger Things season 3.
Us.
And then, ooh.
Okay, so I'm already freaking out.
He said it, and immediately your face is like, no.
No, it's like a trigger for me now. Like my mind is like, I'm gonna find a way to fuck with them, and I was waiting for them to watch this trailer because now I've gotten inside my own head. I'm like, I don't worry about Pennywise. I don't worry about this. I don't worry about monsters.
But
I worry about myself. And now I'm like nervous that an evil version of myself is just gonna pop out of somewhere. And then like I look in mirrors.
I think
and
once this movie comes out and like you see the way the movie is designed, like the actual concept will be closure.
Because right now the thing that's happening is in my head, I'll randomly when I'm like starting getting nervous or like thinking something could happen, that song comes up in my head from the trailer, and it's like a cue.
He made it a horror song.
Is that famous?
Yeah, it's a famous
I
song.
got 5 on it.
Yeah.
I don't know. That song.
It's a really popular, like essentially within
Like
like
an
the hip
R&B?
hop. Yeah.
Okay.
And
It's about drugs.
yeah,
It is
But like anytime it's like the sort of the
Like he
all of a
made
sudden
it a
my head
horror
it's like,
song. It's not supposed
yeah,
to be.
it's not supposed to be like that. Like
is
the,
for
the
me.
original song is just like you would never assume it. That's why it's so amazing. Like to make a song that's known for like being I mean, not like super chill, but
Like, I'll paint a picture for you. I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to take something to my car, and it's late at night. I'm walking, and it's dark, and no one else is out, and all of a sudden in my head, I start playing.
And then you see a family. You just see
No,
the
not even.
sons just
The
run.
thing is, it's not a family. It would be me that I'm terrified. Like if I saw a random family, I don't think I'd be as freaked
you
out.
see another.
I'm freaking
shadow.
myself
You
out.
see like a silhouette, you're like, that's me. And you start just booking
Jordan
it.
Peele. We got one.
But yeah, once the movie comes out,
Maybe
you'll have
talking
closure.
it out.
Okay,
is
I'm gonna
helping.
try to get Jordan Peele as a guest.
Ooh. Ooh, and then just be like, that song, amazing, dude.
Can you say Karosh? I got 5 on it.
And he'd say it so seductively, he'll be like, Krosh, I got 5 on it.
Okay, so we finished our topic.
Yeah.
Let's get into the what have you guys been up to part of the.
I got an exciting one.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
buckle up.
I finished Stranger Things too.
Wait, you're fucking with me.
I know, I swear to God, I finished it.
Hey, you know what?
I
finished it too.
I told you I will finish it by episode 100.
Spoiler cast, Stranger Things season 2. Let's go.
You serious?
I told you I'd finish it by episode 100.
Are you fucking serious?
I finished
And I
it
was like,
last
you know
night.
what? I got a plan. I didn't know he was gonna finish it. I was like, I'm just gonna finish it. Just gonna finish it.
I finished it last night. I was watching it on my phone to the point where I became cross-eyed after I finished it.
So welcome
I
to the
couldn't,
spoiler
like, look
cast
straight.
for Stranger Things.
Is that why you guys came early so we could record a spoilers?
New year, new me. Who dis?
I didn't even know he watched it. I
honestly don't believe that part. I feel like you guys planned.
no
this.
no no.
No, I
So
watched it.
on so
no, the fact that you both watched it.
oh yeah, we didn't know. But so it was Tuesday. I had off. Half the day I spent watching anime. The other half I spent watching 5 episodes of Stranger Things.
That's like half.
And then yesterday,
season.
I watched 4 episodes of Stranger Things to finish it. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done.
I'm done.
How did
So
it
I'm
happen
ready.
for you.
I'm done. I just New Year's. I was like, you know what? I got 3 episodes.
You needed 3 episodes.
3 hours. Let's go.
So you know what the funny thing is? So much time has passed since I
forgot.
watched it that I forgot.
All right, so you need to watch it for next episode.
You guys can remind me. I remember Big Stroke.
So whenever you want, I'm ready for it. 101, episode
I just
101.
want to say, didn't like it. The last episode was good. The last one was good.
Okay,
I didn't like it till the
I
last.
want to know one thing. This is the episode on specifically 11.
So watching it till the end, watching the last episode, it all made sense. But it is like it's almost like a cut and paste in there that it's almost out of
Okay.
place.
It could've been better.
That's
It
a
could've
little
been better.
teaser for our spoiler cast.
Almost out of place. But watching it till the end, I knew why they did it.
I just felt like it could have been better, that episode. They
Yeah.
didn't. They should have had more of the test subjects.
Guys,
More teaser.
God.
stay tuned for spoiler cast. 3 hours long.
And then after that, I found another anime that I'm I am enjoying a
Cowboy
lot.
Bebop, 2019.
I haven't watched it yet. I was busy watching Stranger Things, dude.
I never thought I'd hear the words.
Because we saw the teaser. The
So,
July 4th.
since I was-
thought, when you guys had your other, I was waiting because I was like, you guys don't have topics yet. Maybe they're like Stranger Things review. And then you texted me your topics. I'm like, they saw the news of the new season and they're putting it off.
So I wanted to post something about the show, which I can now that I talked about it. But then that would mean that you would know that I saw Stranger Things, so I can't post it yet.
We changed our lives for
I
this.
know. Now I can post it.
Now you know how it feels.
No, but after that, so on Netflix, there's an anime called Seven Deadly Sins.
Oh, I've heard of this.
So the reason I even heard about it was I was like, there's a randomly like a YouTube channel will come up like top 10 certain things. So it's top 10 overpowered characters.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, one of them, One Punch
Saitama,
Man. Yeah.
Goku.
Goku was not actually on there. But one of them is there's a butler in Seven Deadly Sins, and he goes like, he's like, can defeat any one of the 7 sins or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. But it's this guy who's like super, like just super skinny, bony, and he like beefs up like super hardcore, and then he just beats the shit out of everybody. So I watched literally the first season, which is 24 episodes. It's a lot of time.
But almost didn't watch Stranger Things.
Almost no, I watched after. It is that dude. That one season is fantastic, and it is 3 seasons long. That one season, it's like the first season of Sword Art Online, where there's like a proper finish, and like you don't need to be going, continue going. Like this is fantastic, and I feel like season 2 and 3 will not be as good as the first one, but I will watch it. But yeah, that was fantastic anime, and I loved
Cool.
it.
I'll have to check that out. It's so it's in English on Netflix.
No,
it
it's dubbed. No, it's subbed. It's in Japanese and it's subbed.
There's no option for dub.
I didn't check. I'm okay with everything.
Yeah.
So. And then after, other than that, I had originally bought in a while back Monster Boy
Yeah.
for the Switch.
That was on
I
Jason Schreier's.
I finally started playing it. It's really good. I really enjoy it.
Nice.
It's like a side scroller, essentially
Like
Zelda.
platformer?
Yeah,
Oh.
like it's really good. Enjoyed it a lot. And like it's almost like a puzzler because it's called Monster Boy. What happens is you have an uncle that's like gone crazy or something's going on, and he like zaps you with magic, and it causes you to turn into a monster. And then over time, you're able to transform into different monsters, and obviously each monster gives you an ability. So that causes obviously this whole puzzler, to start happening where like you got to be a certain monster to do certain things, you got to be another monster to do, and so it's just it's fantastic. I'm having a good time with it.
You mentioned that. It made me think, have you guys heard of or played a game called Minute?
I've heard of it.
It's like an indie game.
It's like a minute long.
Yeah, so your character
game.
lives...
Bojan,
He played it?
he beat like
In a minute?
I don't know. He boasted he had the top score,
He has-
like the top
He has
time,
several Guinness records.
and
Really?
then
No.
and then there was another friend who also like tries to beat games quickly, and that he showed him the technique on how to have him beat it. It was really bad.
Okay. Well, I just heard about the game in a few podcasts where the thing is it's like a roguelike game, but in the opposite direction of you try to live as long. You only have a minute to live,
Yeah.
and you progress in that way. So I thought that was an interesting concept. I thought maybe you guys would be interested. But cool. A lot of shows.
Yeah.
Some
know,
monster.
24.
No Destiny.
I mean, I finished up. I mean, I finished up I guess it was technically within this week. I finished up the Christmas stuff, which is
Okay.
making the sleigh, and then all the triumphs that come with the holiday.
Okay.
I-
Did you do the one where you burned one by accident? It's like before you masterwork the oven, you have to fuck a cookie up. Like
But that's the Zur one, right?
no. It's like for the oven for the dawning.
So when I don't know the recipes for the cookies, so I followed a guide, and at the top of it, it says a Zur cookie, and it says make sure you make one of these before you masterwork the thing. And I made that cookie, and I got everything.
It's like burnt transit cookie.
Oh no. Okay, no, I did that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I did that one.
Okay.
I
I was just
remember.
making sure because they were saying after you make your masterwork version, you
You can't
do
make
that
it.
one.
Yeah, I remember it because I saw the burnt transit. I'm like, oh, edge transit. Ha ha ha. I remember that.
Okay. Cool. Jay,
Yeah.
what have you been up to?
Watch Stranger Things season 2.
Oh, niggity.
3 hours. A 3-hour tour.
It's fucking 9 hours in 2 days.
I've been just testing
I
out.
did it in one night.
Hey,
One
Jay.
fateful night.
because of your coworker. You need to watch it. What are you doing?
They're gonna spoil it.
1
Now you can
year
tell 'em that we-
later.
I need to find what that episode was. I should have looked that up. How long ago was that?
Well, I mean, you didn't know. We were trying to surprise you.
Well, it should have been
It was around
a
Hall-
week after.
Halloween.
Yeah, so it's probably November 1st or November.
Yeah. Okay.
Over a year then. Holy shit. A year and some months, dude. Hey, all I know is we said that episode 100 would have been jokingly, I guess, the
Review.
the
You lied.
review. So I watched it before episode 100.
You should have told me.
I can't. I was trying to surprise you. You know, I was gonna suggest it, but you had sent out a topic, and I'm like, I guess he doesn't want it. I guess he doesn't want it.
July 4th. 2020.
You guys are gonna both come and be like, we watched it." This time, like,
I will take my time, so don't
I'm not.
push
yeah.
yourself.
So, what have you been up to besides that?
Just testing out the camera because recording something crazy on this weekend.
Too bad the clothing won't come in time.
Yeah, I could record. I could
Clothing.
record other scenes, you know. But, the Borat bikini.
Episode 69
Yeah.
plus something
some.
plus XXX.
Haven't been streaming.
You did last
stream,
night?
Yeah, I did stream yesterday. I streamed a game called Last Year The Nightmare.
Last
In
year's nightmare or something.
It was like Left 4 Dead. That's why I wanted to play it, and it's a bad game.
It looked like it's like Left 4 Dead, but then one person plays on the other side.
Yeah.
And that reminded me of the other. It's not the
Dead by Daylight,
Yeah, it's
which I never played.
Or evolve.
or that I
Kind of,
guess.
yeah.
But there's also the Friday one, the Freddy.
The 13th. I mean, even Left 4 Dead had where someone plays the.
Oh yeah, huh? I forgot about that. I totally forgot about that.
Oh yeah, huh?
I honestly didn't even remember that it was one person on the other side.
Well,
I always
there-
remember 4 people.
There is the most enjoyable one I liked was it was all NPCs on the zombie end, and it was all just 4 players. Because dude, some people that played zombies would just cheat the system.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like they'll.
like just stand on a rooftop and hook
Yeah,
people and
exactly, and
and
you
then
just
hook people.
you die immediately because they pull
which
you
I
off
tried,
the
which
edge.
didn't work.
I was watching it.
But it has some problems. But I think if they like fix it, it'll be okay. But I feel like timing is very important when
And
it comes
it's
to a
too late.
game like that. Yeah, and I don't know if it's too late, but
Is
they
it
gotta
early
fix it.
access?
It's not early access. It's a game from Discord. You can only buy off Discord right now.
But it had like it blew up like in popularity with streamers, and it's past that point now. Like it's gone, it's died out, and I'm assuming because it was just not very
It's-
good game.
I'm trying to find a match. There are only 24 people playing locally. I didn't expand my.
Do they push to talk?
I did. Jesus Christ. I didn't want to talk on stream,
Yeah,
and it was.
Can you push to talk? This
But
kid like
yeah.
joined this game and he's just like,
So yeah, I got all crazy happy when I found out how to do push to talk.
they're like, open your Discord, click your settings.
so he helped you out, huh? Damn. And then at the end he was like, "Oh, niggity."
Damn, I can't finish Resident Evil 2.
You can't. Why?
I'm at the end. I don't want to play it, you know. I'm thinking about doing a Blood Level 4 run in Bloodborne.
Back to Bloodborne,
That's
baby.
dangerous.
I
man.
I feel like you said you wouldn't do that, or was that just like a no
I
death?
said I
run?
wouldn't do that first.
Okay.
Please help me.
So my topic, I think next week, unless something. Well, outside of our spoiler cast, I feel like it's a separate thing. I want to talk about. I have a conundrum because I'm playing a lot of Destiny. And I'm not making progress towards any of these other games that I've been wanting to finish and get done. And I'm going to ask you guys for help for me to pick which one to take. And I have a list of them. So I feel like you have maybe a similar conundrum of like what to play, but yours is more towards streaming.
I'll just give you my choice right now. Assassin's Creed Origin. You're welcome.
I don't have that game.
Buy it. You're welcome.
I have Odyssey.
I'll wait till your list next week.
Yeah, some are classic, some are new, some are a little bit older. Oh yeah, I've been playing a lot of fucking Destiny. I did the Dawning. It was a great time because it's like there's an economy issue right now in the game where this one thing you need in order to keep your gear but raise its light, the economy needed for it is so hard to find, and that cost is so steep. And it wasn't before. That was like probably my only hang up with this big update that they did in the Forsaken, is that economy shifted. But this Dawning event made it so there was a great way to like, while passively getting the currency while doing whatever you wanted. So like you were saying, you were making those cookies. You give those cookies to random people, and you would get rewards. And a lot of those rewards was that item I needed.
The Master Core?
The enhancement cores.
Yeah.
And Iron Banner was also during the break, and so I played a lot of that. So I played Destiny a lot. I started on my Switch. Katie and I were playing Bubble Bobble. The you rotate the arrows.
Oh, yeah.
Puzzle ball.
Puzzle Bobble, yeah. And I forgot how addicting this game was. It's like the classic version of it, Neo Geo, and she's addicted to it too. And we both love playing Puyo Puyo Tetris, and we're both playing a lot of this. And she's like vilified me now, where I'm just this maniacal villain that just can't lose. And she'll make it her mission like, I must take you down. And like she's beaten me, like she's good, and I think it's fun because it kind of adds like a
Trick shot.
So the other night, she was like, I'm gonna beat you this time, because a lot of the time she beat me a few times, but not as many as she thought she should have. So we played again, and I was like kind of tired. And to be fair, she was playing really on point at the start. So she was like kicking my ass. I was like, holy fuck, like I'm losing way more than I should.
So you did the...
Yeah. for audio listeners, it was the lean back into the on your like forward.
Yeah.
Knees on your shoulders, or no, elbows.
You go
on
from
your
leaning back to leaning
elbows
forward.
on your knees.
Yeah.
Sorry. When you're into the game. So I did that, and I got shots that I never thought I could make. It was just like, it was bullshit stuff too. It was like, this shot should stop here, but it somehow went around and like knocked like
And you're
9.
like,
I was like, the
Corner
game.
pocket. It's green.
You're like the anime protagonist where like all of a sudden he's just doing like these amazing moves. You're like, I can't lose.
Yeah.
That happens a lot in the Seven Deadly Sins. Yeah, because like the guy gets beat up and you're like, oh well, he's dead, and all of a sudden he just has this newfound energy, and you're like, what the hell? And he just murders everything.
But yeah, we played a lot, and she wasn't too happy about how that went. But I think we'll play more. And then watched a few movies. I watched Vice. I don't think I mentioned that last time. It's the Christian Bale film.
I don't know if you watched it last
Sam
time.
Rockwell.
I don't think you watched it last time.
Yeah, so I think I watched it before this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sam Rockwell's George W., Christian Bale's Dick Cheney, and it's the story of Dick Cheney in his involvement in
Does he
things.
get shot?
He shoots somebody.
Yeah, the shotgun.
Yeah, the quail.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah. What was interesting, and so it's from the director that Adam McKay. He did The Big Short, which was sort of like the documentary / fictional telling of the financial crisis told from several points of view. And in this one, it was the story of Dick Cheney, kind of how he's been involved in so many things behind the scenes.
Yeah.
He's never been in the front until more of his later years. But it was just like, even if it's partial, like I know it's a fictional telling of it, and maybe some of the motivations were different, but a lot of those events I remembered either living through or reading about, or my parents living through. And like, I initially was like going into the movie thinking, this is fiction, but I kept reminding myself, this guy's still alive, like, and it's crazy. It made me feel uneasy, all the things he was involved with. There was one that was so quick, like it jumps to the next thing, but like that one little thing just like I mean, it's like public knowledge, but like he was just reading. It was like a passing scene. It's just like things going on, montage. He's reading an article in the Times, I think. And he's like, this article is very like I don't like the way it's painting this administration or me. And then he's like, that journalist, doesn't her wife in special undercover in a foreign third world country?
Shit.
And like they're like, yes sir, he is. And he like not even batting an eye, like eating his bagel or something. He's like, leak it, like leak that she's undercover. And I was like, oh, like that, I was like, fuck.
Just like that.
Yeah, like other stuff he'd been disturbing and sick, and like I didn't know much about that one, but I read about it more later.
Did you see him in that show, Who is America? So,
oh wait, the
Sacha
interview?
Baron Cohen interviewed.
Oh, that! Oh my god!
So he made him sign like a waterboarding or water jug.
Yeah.
His waterboarding.
Yeah, it's fucking, and so like his involvement in a lot of the tortures, like there's the way they depict a lot of this was I feel like they took the fiction of it and had fun with it, but conveyed the point. Like for instance, what I'm saying is they were conveying how they were discussing legal loopholes in allowing for torture. And so they depict the scene by having him and the 4 people he's discussing it with sitting at a dinner table. And another famous actor who I won't say comes in and he's like the waiter. He's like, today we have Guantanamo Bay over here, and this is what it offers you. And these are the benefits of using Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah.
We have this law and they're like, oh yes, we'll have the lot, please. And it's like conveying essentially that we just want everything and all those things are going to happen now.
Wow.
And I was like, it conveyed that point without getting too, I don't know, not serious, but
Technical?
Yeah, technical documentary. It's like it kept the story going. Like there were many moments like that. Like there was one that cracked me up where he gets the call from Bush and he's like, I want you to be my VP. And the narrator, who's narrated by not Jesse Pinkman, who's the other kid that's like a Matt Damon, I forget, Plankman.
I know who you're talking. USS Callister.
Yeah, that guy.
The main guy.
You're good.
He was in Breaking Bad.
They call him Meth Damon.
Yeah.
Because he's
Yeah, so that actor is narrating the whole film. And he's like, no one knows what that conversation happened that pivotal night of whether like maybe it shifted the course of everything of him taking on the role of vice president or not. And so instead, we leave you with this. And all of a sudden, Christian Bale starts reciting Hamlet. He's like, doth the morrow. And like as Dick Cheney. And his wife starts reciting. And it's all like a metaphor for like the night of they take power. It's like, we don't know what happened, so we kind of just fill in the blanks to get you to where we are. And I'm like, I think it was creative. Like the way they did. It was a little long overall, but it was insightful and also just sort of like reflective of, man, that was crazy. And that was all this time and what we live in now as well. And I'm like, I don't know. It kind of just, it wasn't the most positive movie film.
I'll just wait for the Donald Trump movie.
It made me want a fucking Penguin movie because I was thinking of like the fiction stuff. I was like, man, Christian Bale plays a good Penguin. Like he's just like this methodical war machine kind of guy.
I just feel like he's like Senator Palpatine.
Yeah.
Like
Just
have
have
that's
him
probably how the movie portrays
have
him.
him play as Penguin, but recite Hamilton. Or
Hamilton.
He's rapping.
No, but they didn't. While showing that eerie, uneasy side, they show his family side as well, and it's sort of like
I know his daughter's a lesbian, and then someone
that was a big part. Of
someone made a question about like because he's anti-gay, and so they made a question. I think he just froze like in the interview, like he couldn't answer it.
So, I mean, I'm going to spoil it. Spoilers. In the movie, they constantly bring up like, oh, this is going to become an issue for you politically. Like going forward, that's always going to be something people are going to go after. And he's like, I'm never going against my daughter. And throughout the movie, he's like, I just so you know, if you're with me, that's something that is going to be a weak spot for us. And he's like, I'm never drawing. So it was always like he has a little bit of a compassion towards his family. Near the end of the film, he has just had his third heart attack. He gets his heart replaced. And his other daughter is running for a position in a Senate or House representative or something, and she was like, they want like I'm anti or no I'm I support my sister, but I'm running for a position where they need me to run against gay marriage. And then the scene played out. I don't know whether this is fiction or not, but it's scene played out where Dick Cheney's like, "You need to do that," and it pretty much drove her to split with her sister, and the sister hating the father, and it was just like, he did eventually like be like, business is business. I don't know. It was a lot of like there was compassion towards family, but then it was I don't know. It was weird.
Wow.
He's a crazy cat.
Crazy cat.
Yeah. So I mean that was bulk of what I.
But would you go hunting with them?
Fuck no. I was expecting that scene to be bigger. It played in a montage of things, and it was an interesting part of it where I totally forgot that the guy apologized to Dick Cheney.
But did the dog laugh?
He gets shy. He's like, I'm sorry that you shot me.
But did the dog laugh?
The dog?
Duck hunt? Duck hunt?
I'm
Sorry.
Sam Rockwell fucking spot on George W. Bush.
Wow.
Like
What's funny is
so good.
I think he was on K-Rock and he was like saying like, yeah, I didn't want to do Will Ferrell's impersonation of George Bush, but every time I look at Will Ferrell's impersonation, it's fucking good. It's like he tried not to do it, but it just steered towards.
I mean, he did a little bit. He didn't do it though. Like for by and large of it, they gave him some prosthetics to get the look, but I don't know. It has hints of it. Not Colin Powell. How do you say his first name?
Colin
Powell. Tyler Perry played him.
Or is it Colin Powell?
Colin, I think.
Oh shit!
I don't know.
Might be Colin.
Mr. Powell. I fucked it up earlier today. I said it's just somewhere I forget. He did a good thing. The only one that I was like, I don't see who you're playing was Donald Rumsfeld. I don't exactly remember how he sounds and looks, and Steve Carell played him.
Oh wow!
And Steve Carell did a good job, but the whole time I'm like, you're Steve. To me, you're just like insert Republican guy.
You're Gru from
Yeah.
Despicable.
And then whoever they got for Condoleezza Rice, I was like, I could have sworn you got Condoleezza Rice for this role. Like,
Oh shit.
yeah. So, the interesting tidbit was, and I'll end it on this note. Christian Bale had been researching heavily on. He'd gained a lot of weight for the role. He's like, I ate many pies over the course of this film, gained 40 pounds, and he was trying to understand the symptoms and how to portray heart attacks. And so he worked with actual cardiologists of like, what do they feel? How do they act when? How does it look? And to kind of feel for it. And so he started learning all the different ways people can have symptoms for heart attacks. And one of them. No, so he learned that some of them are going to be like a sharp pain, other ones are going to be a queasy feeling and like a numbness or something. And so he asked the director, "How do you want me to do this one?" And he listed a few of them. And the director hadn't been doing too well throughout the film. And at one point at home, he realized he was having one of those symptoms because he remembered what Christian Bale said.
Wow.
So he called the emergency, and they told him after everything had been resolved, he did in fact have a heart attack. If he hadn't called when he did, it would have been a much more severe ramification for his thing. So he's like, because of his involvement for the role, it helped him prevent. I mean, I don't know if the film furthered this guy's stress, but excuse me. Yeah,
Dude.
I was like, wow, that's
Christian Bale is such a great actor.
He's already fucking
Just-
skinny again. Like that guy is like scrawny as fuck right now. I'm like,
But-
what is?
The machinist.
Just don't block the lights.
I bet he did the quail shot at the guy on this set. He's like, anyone fucking block the lights? That should be the montage of like if they make a parody trailer for the Penguin. It's him with the shotgun scene. Yeah.
What else did you do?
Thing is that.
Your whole thing was just what Vice.
I spent so much talking about Vice. I feel like if I just kept going, I'd ramble. But I think it was Destiny, Vice. I want to start watching Sense8 because one of my friends recommended it.
He said it was his greatest.
He had some big things to say, but I will say the part that aside from his recommendation,
Wait, was it a friend or coworker?
both. He's a friend of the show.
It's the guy that.
It's not the
told
guy
you
with
you
the.
need to watch.
Straight to the.
If it's him, you can't watch Sunset.
what are you
just
doing?
can't.
You need to watch it immediately.
You're turning me against the fans, guys. No, he mentioned that the Wachowskis had been involved in the show, and I really love a lot of their work.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like the thing that cinched how
Oh,
urgently I would want to put this in.
And that's
priority.
on Netflix, right?
Yeah, so it got canceled after 2 seasons, but I heard they got a proper finish. They had
Oh.
time to give it a finale.
Nice.
So that would make me happy. So I want to try it.
And it's what, like an hour episode?
2 seasons, I think 40 minutes to an hour. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
So
Not
we'll
bad.
see. Play some more Destiny tonight. We'll see. And with that, episode 100, guys.
Yeah.
We did it.
We're done.
In the books. Just got to make sure I hit save.
If- Let us know if you guys like the.
New format.
Yeah,
At
the
the ends.
new format. The last 100 episodes. Let us know if you like those.
If you guys want us to just jump into topics or not even include banter,
No, we have to.
Let us know.
We can have banter on like Insta stories.
let us know.
Yeah, let us know, please. And where can they let us know? Where can
Well, they
contact you?
can find me at the Fulio365 on Instagram and in the Fulio everywhere else.
At the last bosses everywhere.
Find me at Kujar Prime. You can find us all at the Weekly DLC. If you want to hit us up privately, you can hit us up at our email at asktheweeklydlc@gmail.com. If not, you can hit DM us or message us in any of our social media spots, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. So, yeah, with all that, until next time, we'll...
DLC.
You later.
Bling.